What's going on? We are starting a brand new series this week called Meet the Mechanic, where we're going to be looking at the life of Jesus. We wrapped up last week with the entire Old Testament, and today we're diving in to the New Testament, and it all starts with Jesus. But before we get into that, have you ever learned something new about a friend that you had that you're like, I didn't know that about you? Have you ever had that? I know for me, I had a friend who we were friends for a long time, and then randomly one day we were talking about our interests and things we liked, and it was like, oh, I like this one random game, Sonic on like the GameCube, and he's like, oh, I love that game too. You're like, wait, you played that game? He's like, yeah, of course I played that game. That was my favorite game then, and it was something new I learned. Well, today we're going to be looking at something that maybe this is the first time you've heard about Jesus, or maybe you think you know a lot about him. We're going to be looking at some things that show us, like maybe we know him really well, but there are things that we might have not known about him. And so to get into it, I want you to think, just brainstorm right off the top of your head, what are the things that you know about Jesus's birth? What are those things? Do you know where he was born? To who? Where'd they go? Do you know those things? So I'm just going to rattle off a couple of them. And so we'll start here with this one here, this picture. So Gabriel, the angel, appeared to Mary, who was not married or expecting to have a kid, and later told Joseph in a dream that she was going to give birth to a son named Jesus. Gabriel said Jesus would inherit the kingdom of David and rule forever. He would be the Messiah, the promised deliverer that the prophets of the Old Testament had been talking about. Then we also have Gabriel also told Mary her cousin Elizabeth would give birth to John, who would prepare the way for Jesus. And then Mary and Joseph, they lived in Nazareth. And however, they had to travel to Joseph's family's hometown of Bethlehem to be counted by the order of the emperor. And while they were there, Jesus was born. And there's no room in the inn, so he was born with the animals in a barn or a cave. And then we have like a nativity scene. We have shepherds, Anna, Simeon, and the wise men saw little Jesus, and they recognized him as king and savior. But when King Herod heard about this new king, he did not like it. So he ordered all the boys under 2 to be killed. And God warned Joseph about this in a dream, and they escaped to Egypt. And then, after Herod died, God told Joseph to go back to Nazareth where he grew up. And so why did we go over this? Because a lot of this stuff is from a long time ago, but even at that birth, a long time before that, it was prophesied. Like God told people this, and they said, hey, this Savior, this like Messiah that's going to come, he's going to come and do these different things. And so, for example, Gabriel, when he appeared to Mary, telling that she would have a son, and to name him Jesus, Mary asked the angel, how could that be since I'm not married and I was not going to be bearing a child? And so Gabriel told her that God would do a miracle. And this is actually a reference from Isaiah 7:14. And then it came true in Luke 1:34. And so Isaiah 7:14 says that a virgin, a woman not married, not expecting a kid, would give birth to a son. And that is a miraculous thing that came true. So I have a couple others. Another one's from Isaiah 9:7. It says that his government and its peace will never end. He will rule with fairness and justice from the throne of his ancestor David for all of eternity. And in Matthew 1, we can see that for Jesus, from Mary's side and Joseph's side, was in the genealogy of David. Like David had kids that had kids that had kids, and they go both to Joseph and Mary, so that he was in the line. It came true. This prophecy that was spoken. Another one's in Malachi 3:1. And it says that there's going to be someone who, a messenger that prepares the way for the Messiah to come. And in the Bible, we see that John the Baptist was filled with the Holy Spirit while he was still in the womb, growing in Elizabeth's tummy. And the Bible said that he leaped inside Elizabeth when Mary visited and had Jesus growing in her tummy. And so that's another prophecy that's fulfilled through Jesus. And then another one's in Micah 5:2. And around 500 years before the birth of Jesus, Micah wrote that he would be born, this Messiah, would be born in Bethlehem. And only God's miraculous hand moved the emperor to count his people, which forced Joseph and his fiancee Mary to leave their home in Nazareth and travel to, it's like several days, and walk to Bethlehem at a perfect time when Jesus was born. It's miraculous. But then also it goes even further than that. In Hosea 11:1, we talked about how Joseph had warned in a dream to escape to Egypt because Herod was about to kill all the baby boys where they were staying. And after Herod died, God told Joseph to leave Egypt and go back to Nazareth where Jesus grew up. And this Hosea verse is one of those that God is talking about something in history, but then also prophesying about Jesus, that the nation of Israel did leave Egypt, but then so did Jesus too. Now, I want you to think about this. What if I had an envelope here, and inside the envelope, I opened it up, and it said the year 2522, and it had something about your great-great-great-great-great-grandkids. So maybe if you went to SBO, we had a guy named Rico. It would be like, say Rico's, through Rico's genealogy, there's going to be someone named Sarah, and Sarah is going to be born on one of Jupiter's moons, and then she's going to go to Mars and do this job. She's gonna be a gardener, and just like all these random details about people and places. And it would be like, that would be unbelievable. Has anyone been to Jupiter's moon? I don't think so. But all these different things, all these chances that could have gone wrong or not even happened with this story about the Messiah that was coming in the Old Testament to who Jesus is, and even just his birth, it came true, it happened. And which points us that why does it matter? Because God works in the details of the birth and childhood of Jesus and his cousin, and it all came true. And so how does that affect us? It means that God has a plan from the very beginning for us, a plan to rescue us from sin, and he did exactly what he said he would. And Jesus is reliable. It's not some made-up person that someone made up. Like, Jesus was a real person. And there's like a bunch of accounts that actually point to Jesus, not just in the Bible. There's like historians from that time where Jesus was alive that talked about the other people that were there, and Jesus person, and what he was doing and how it made the government feel. And there are like history books about not just Jesus, but about what was going on and this Jesus person. So it all points back to Jesus, like he's real. And above all of that stuff, God sent Jesus to die for us, that we can trust him, we can give our life to him and believe him as our Savior, so that we can be with God forever in eternity. And so our series for this, or our goal for this series, is to know Jesus better. And we want you to know him better too. And he wants to be your best friend. He wants a relationship with you. He wants to do life with you. He wants to encourage you and guide you and do something powerful in your life. And so will you trust him? And maybe you've already made that decision, but it's a daily decision too, to follow him. Like, how's your relationship with Jesus? Do you know him? Are you spending time with him? Do you talk to him? Do you pray? Are you reading the Bible? Are you learning more about him? But he wants to be your close friend. And so it's a daily walk, but it's all, Jesus is true, and his birth was prophesied and it was fulfilled. And so I hope you enjoy this. We'll talk more about Jesus next week. See ya.